Bonjour, mon ami. Yeah, so I've had a bit of a pause this weekend. On Friday removed, well, actually I didn't remove it. I basically shifted this whole side over by the amount that was missing. The wood is warped probably from the sprinklers. I'm not sure exactly why it warped. It didn't used to be that far off, but I lost about, it kind of came in by about a couple centimeters, 5 centimeters, but just enough to make it so that when I go to cut all the tiles, instead of getting a meter width, I was under it. So I mean, I would have to cut hundreds of tiles just to kind of have it not hanging over the edge. So what I did is on Friday, I moved them all over, removed the spikes, shifted them over so that they go farther than I would need. And then I had to think, and I thought, well, I'm using all these curved warp pieces, like bananas, and they're really warped. So I've had to rethink again, and on Monday, I'm going to remove these boards and put down proper ones, because there are tons of straight boards in the garden. It just seemed to be this area, this section, going that way and this way, that have been warped, and it kind of makes sense because there's been a lot more watering going on from the sprinkler system, and that's where I have the grass, and that's where I've had a lot of weight pushing against it for, and this is also the oldest section. I did that probably last fall. So it's been pushing against the wood, warping it. There's wood all over the place that I can just unscrew, pop out, adjust a few of the spikes, and when I go to pour it, it's exactly what I want. And I think this is kind of one of those situations where if I were to push ahead too quickly, I just make more of a mess for myself. So it's like, okay, just take a sec. I really want to get pouring this concrete. I really want to finish it, but I think it's going to end up costing me more work in the future. So I'm going to remove all this on Monday, swap it out with some good straight boards. Not all of them are warped, but most of them are. You can see how banana-ish they are. And this side's not too bad, but the other side, not good. So I'm going to replace all those, and then hopefully in the afternoon on Monday, I'll start my first pour. The other issue that I've been kind of going back in my mind with is cold joints. So in concrete, when you pour it, even if you have rebar sticking out and stuff like that, when you pour it, a new pouring of concrete will never hook up properly with the old. It will always have kind of a crack in it. It's more to kind of stop water from penetrating in and from getting in there, and then ice forms, which we don't get much ice, to be fair. But when we do get a lot of wet weather, it tends to be in the cold, like in January, February. So it rains a lot, it's colder. So is it small chance it could freeze? Unlikely, but with climate change and everything, you never know. We may start getting snow here, right? A lot of weird things are happening. So we'll just see how that works out. But anyways, for me, I want to find that same bonding paint or whatever it is you use here. Here, I think it looks like you pour it into like a mortar, and then you kind of cover it. And then once it sets up, not fully dries, you basically can continue your pour afterwards. So it wouldn't be a huge issue for me to mix up a little bucket, paint an end where I've stopped of or mortar the end, when you call it, cover it up, let it sit for half an hour, whatever it takes, and then start, which would be great, because then I can start mixing concrete, and then it basically just continue on. My biggest fear is that it's not going to, that I'm going to mess it up, put it that way. I don't really want to make a mistake, so I'd rather go a little slower. Also, the original plan was, which is why I have all this wood out, is because I was going to try to get it done in one day. Basically hire 2 cement mixers, a pump truck, and then we're going to have to hire a bunch of people to kind of just help smooth it out as we went along, or at least 2 or 3 more other than me, or at least 2 people that can really go. We looked at the prices of that, and for the cost of me pouring it all by hand for even 2 months, it still kind of makes sense for me to do it. I also want to try to do as much of this stuff on my own without help. See, can I do this stupid large house on my own? It is slow, but I enjoy it. So I'd rather have that satisfaction of, yes, I poured all the concrete myself, and if something goes wrong, that's on me. It's not on anyone else. But it's a good learning experience. I should learn what they do here for those cold joints and how you continue along. Most people say, just don't do it. Just do a single pour. Well, not everyone can do that. I mean, we we were looking at about 6 to 10,000 more euros just to have someone pour it, and to have it come in one day and be, you know, set in 3 hours or whatever it would be. Even if they put the slowing compound, you still a day or two to smooth it, but still, it's you know, you can put additives in to make it slow faster, dry faster, but I don't want to go down that route if I don't have to. We've got a lot of cats walking around from other people's stuff, and I'll just be sweeping up cat prints for whatever, and possibly getting it all over their feet, which I'd really rather not do. So yeah, that's kind of the plan for Monday, and then next week for sure I will be doing the first bit of pouring. I just think that at this point it's kind of makes more sense to just take it easy, don't get excited, and basically do it properly, because if you don't do it properly, yeah, no one's ever going to see it. The grass will grow to the edges if there's a little bit of weave of concrete, like a little bit wider concrete, and you're only talking, you know, like an inch or 2 or 3 centimeters extra on the edges. But why not do it right? It's not costing me any more money. The wood's here. Because we're not pouring it all in one, I can just find some straight boards and randomly pick them up, put them back down here, and then continue on pouring it like I would have anyways. So I'd rather just do it right at this point. And then once again, when I'm done, not once again, but when I'm done, I can pull these boards up when the concrete sets and use them somewhere else. It just makes a lot more sense, I think. So anyways, that's the plan. Bit of a boring update, but that's the reason why I haven't started yet, because I think it's just better to do it right, better to get everything sorted, and do a good job, because why wouldn't you? Anyone has any thoughts or comments about what type of bonding stuff you used for cold joints, I'd love to hear it. Yeah, it'd be great help if anyone can let me know, because it's a bit different here in France. I couldn't find the same things you would get in the States. I don't want to be spending 600 euros or something to get a tub of something shipped over for delivery. It wouldn't be worth it, and then I have to wait. So something that's readily available, if they even do it. I know I'm being a little extra picky, but I'd rather everything be done right, because this is going to be a long project, and I don't want to come back in a year and find everything's cracked, or, you know, except for where I want it to crack. So anyways, thanks for watching me ramble on, and I hope you had a good weekend, and I hope your next week is great too. Ciao.